Grand Rising friends. Welcome, welcome. My hair is vibing with my moon, which is Leo moon. It feels very like main character energy hair. I know it desperately needs a wash for sure. And I'm like thinking about making some really big changes with my hair, but I'm not going to talk about that yet because there's things that are still brewing inside of the mind. But basically your girl over here is looking for a little less maintenance with her hair. So you'll see what those changes are when/if I decide to do them, because it's still like kind of a, oh my God, that's terrifying to think about the changes that I want to make with my hair. And not only that, but you guys may have noticed, but like there's a lot of changes that have been happening. So like I've kind of been rebranding in a way, like none of the names have necessarily been changing, but I'm bringing more of like this beautiful, colorful, cosmic energy vibes. And I'm just really flowing and digging that. Just so many things around change. And like, here's why you're going to notice so many things change this year. So pay attention to this space, to my personal page, because you'll see some changes that are happening. But this is what I want to get into, is the why. Because I am in a personal numerology year 5. If you guys don't know, I am a numerologist as well. I very much use numerology. That's basically what these meetings are for every single week. I talk to you about the energy of the numerology for the week, kind of what some challenges that could arise from it, what are some of the light and shadow sides of these energies, and et cetera, et cetera. So if you were here in December, then you know that I did year ahead forecasts for numerology as well. There were some really amazing reports that got out to people, and I'm hoping that they're using them to help navigate their year, because you can do forecasting with numerology as well. It's not just about life paths or soul urges or those things. There's so much more to numerology than I think a lot of people realize. And this is also why I do portal gatherings. Like the next one that's coming up is going to be the 4-4, because it's very numerologically influenced, right? There's a lot of numerology influences inside of that. And if we can work with and use numerology to help us navigate our days, then I mean, why not? So I'm in a personal year 5, and 5 is the archetype of like the change maker, the adventure seeking, freedom loving, like that's kind of those energies. But basically what you can expect in a personal 5 year is a lot of change. So that's what I'm noticing in me too. It's like, it's not just business, although that is a big part of it. It's all of those changes that are happening within that are creating this safety that's allowing me to change certain things, because I have felt so comfortable in my business. But here's another interesting fun fact. My business is also in a year 5. So I've got some double 5 energy going on personally and professionally. So it's really just interesting to see how all of that is unfolding. And I'm really loving the changes that are coming in. And this is also a year where I get to learn like my divine yes, my sacred no, really understanding like what is good for me, what I need to grow and expand, and just like all of that stuff, right? So personal year 5 inside of a collective year 9 is not easy to navigate, because a collective year 9 is also all about like endings and transformation as well. So that kind of like works really well with that 5 energy. But then that also means that there's like a lot of things that are going to be like shifting and changing, and things that are going to be done differently. And it's just a lot, right? But yeah, so let's talk about this numerology for this week specifically, because personally, I don't always fuck with the 4 energy. I'm not a huge fan, because that 4 energy, I'm a life path 9. So also, if you know your life path number, it helps you to understand like how these energies flow with you. And typically, and not all cases, but typically our odd and even numbers don't always get along that great, because in general, there are some exceptions to the rule, but in general, our odd numbers are the feminine flow energies, and then our even numbers are the masculine energies, and like a healed masculine energy when we're in the positive aspect of it. When we're in the shadow aspect of it, then that can feel a little bit more toxic, and that can happen in masculinity or in femininity. But just as a generalization, I'm an odd number life path, so I don't always fuck that great with even number days or weeks or months or years. So, you know, when you have that basic knowledge, understanding of what your numerology is, then that can help you navigate what the collective energies are as well, and how that works personally for you, right? So if you ever want to learn more about your numerology, please do hit me up. I love doing numerology charts. I don't advertise it a ton, just because it is a lot of work to get all of those, to see how all those numbers play together, and to get your report in to help you understand, especially if you want to get into forecasting. It's a big undertaking, but I do offer it. I do love it. I do think it's so helpful and expansive. If you go to Amazon as well and search my name, I do have a book that's created that's called Life by the Numbers, and it's forecasting with numerology. And that'll teach you how to calculate your own personal year, your own personal month, and your own personal day. So that can also help you understand and navigate some of the energies as well, because inside of there, I've also broken down, okay, so if this is what you're in, then this is how that works, and all of that stuff. So you can go check out that book. I've got it both on Kindle, or you can get like a physical version printed on Amazon as well. Both versions are available. I am working on getting Kindle editions available for all of my things, just so that it can bring some of that cost down for you, and then you can use your own notebooks instead of the journal books that I have created as well. So yeah, just to give you that little bit of a what do you call that, a pro tip, you can go search my name and grab your Life by the Numbers book so that you can understand how to forecast for your own numerology. But if you want to understand your chart, then that's where you need to come to me for. All right. Oh, hi. Thanks, Jessica. Yes, she's frequently in my inbox being like, I am seeing all these numbers. What does this mean? What personal year am I in? What is this about? Just like that too. Exactly. Like I nailed that impression. All right, let's talk about the numerology for this week. So like I already mentioned, we are in a 4 energy. Okay, so 4 energy is, what is the archetype of the 4? It's a very organized, structured number, okay? So when we think about master number 22, that is the master builder, and then 22 also, when we reduce that down, it comes into a 4. So 4 does carry a lot of that same energy as the 22 as well, because they do work beautifully together. So even though this week isn't a 22-4 week, we can still look at some of those traits as well, because the 4 is like very organized. It's very, if I were to think about like the type of person a 4 energy would be, that's your very atypical energy people. Like they're very organized, they're very cerebral, they're very in these spaces where these things really make sense. This energy fucks really well with people who are on the spectrum or have ADHD as well, because it also helps to like give them the motivation and the energy inside of what they need to organize to really set themselves up for success in whatever manner. That could be for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, for their life, whatever that looks like. But 4 energy is also a very grounded energy, because remember, I did say that the the even numbers are very masculine in nature in general, and a very healed masculine energy is that groundedness, is keeping that self in the body, where the divine feminine energy is a little bit more floaty and in flow and just letting things happen and trickle, where that divine masculine energy is like, okay, so let me hold this and support this for you so that you can go off and be your lovely little floaty fairy self, right? But this is really inviting in a grounding shift. So we're really moving into a stabilizing and structured energy for this 4 week. Last week we were in 3, so that's a little bit more light. It feels a little bit more creative, more fun, more expressive, where this week is a little bit more like, okay, what do we need to do to have success and to move forward? How can we incorporate this structure inside of this joyful energy, because we are still in a 3-month, even though last week was a 3-week, we're still in a 3-month. So it is still bringing in some playfulness and some expression into that. And then also the 9 year is inviting in some introspection and transformation as well. So the month may be filled with creative energy, social opportunities, and emotional expression. Over the grand scheme of the month, the presence of the number 4 this week is really going to serve as that anchor that's reminding us to root ourselves into our visions so that we can create that reality, right? So the number 4 is all about foundations, discipline, responsibility, long-term planning. It calls to you to slow down. Okay. And I know I don't like it either. I fucking hate slowing down, if I'm honest with you. I want to go, go, go. I want to get the shit done. But what I've noticed is when I do that, and to give you a prime example, the shadow work workbook that I created last month, aside from some of the outline and just some of the pieces that I did on paper, that book was created in a day. That book was literally created in a day. But what I noticed was I was crashed out for 2 days after that because my energy just couldn't sustain that level of expression and creativity without having some groundedness, without having some more like methodical steps around it. And, you know, I've kind of noticed that as one of the holes in my business, because like I get so amped up and supercharged and go toward and direct for this thing and pour my heart, my soul, my energy into it. But then I have this crash out that happens right after. But if we slow down and just take smaller methodical steps of this 4 energy, which I don't always love, I want to rebel the fuck against it. But if we do that, then it allows us to reorganize things in our mind as to, okay, what really needs to take precedent here? What is my first step? What is my next best step? And if we just kind of take it in those slower paces, then we may come up with a little bit more success in whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. And we can look at this professionally, we can look at this personally, we can look at this even collectively as well. But if we just take smaller steps and really be with each step and ground and anchor ourselves into each step, then that's what's really going to help us move forward even more, right? So this month like has been a lot inside of expansion, expression, emotional intensity. And this week in some ways is going to feel like a very necessary pause. Okay. So if you are noticing that some of the things that are really important to you are kind of stalling out, or you're feeling less motivated toward working with them, then know that this pause is happening for a reason. It's allowing you to refuel your energy, but also to like prioritize what's really important and to help you understand and like really set into like, what are you vibing with the most right now? And where can you put more attention and energy over there? So this week really is a chance to clean up, to get organized, and to build some solid structures that are going to help you to support your future. Now, when I say clean up and get organized, this can look like maybe your actual physical home, because however our home shows or appears in this moment really is a reflection of what's going on in the inside of us. So if your home right now is chaotic, you're probably a little chaotic on the inside. If your home feels like it is completely full, it's at max capacity, there's no space to bring in anything else, that is going to be happening inside of your body as well. So this is a good chance to observe and ask yourself, okay, what are some areas maybe that I want to take a look at where I can maybe bring in some organization, or where I can clear some space? Because even when you're doing that on a physical level, on external places, that still very much can influence the internal spaces of you as well, right? And this is going to help you to build solid structures and support for your future as well. And something that I've been talking about inside of my membership group this morning as well, was when it comes to cleaning up and getting organized, especially when it comes to your home. I don't know about you guys, but I get overwhelmed thinking about it, because I am the type of person that likes to like go from 0 to 360 and get all the shit done as soon as possible so that I don't have to worry about it or do it again. But as we know from what I've already shared, that makes my energy crash out like nobody's business. It's so fucking hard to overcome that. And then I spend like days being unable to creatively express, and that's not beneficial for me either. So what I am suggesting is, if you are similar in that kind of energy, what I'm suggesting is to take it one room at a time. And if that also feels overwhelming, then take it one corner at a time. You know, maybe you need to divide the room into 4 quadrants, and maybe you focus on one quadrant per day, or maybe you only focus on one quadrant per week. Whatever that looks like for you and your own energy, this is the time to really just honor where your energy is at, where you can create some structures to help support you moving forward in any of these endeavors that you want to do, whether that's spring cleaning in your home or whether that's sorting yourself out emotionally as well. And I just want to let you know that I do have some really exciting offers coming up for some containers that I can help you with all of those things. But we're going to be talking about that probably more next week because I'm just allowing the people that are inside of my membership group right now to have first dibs, and then we'll have to see how many spaces are left after. But just planting that seed for you right now. Okay, so like we've said, clean up, get organized, build solid structures that are going to support your future for this week. But this is not about rigid control, or, some of you aren't going to like to hear this, or perfectionism. We need to let that shit go because we're still under that influence of the 3-month, which still wants us to flow, to create, and to express. But the 4 is simply asking that you create the containers that will help those things to flourish. Right? So think of this week as the builder energy, like I've already mentioned, where your dreams and ideas are waiting to be shaped into something sustainable. So last week we're in that 3 energy. So, and the week before that we were in 11-2 energy. So you may have gotten a lot of information, a lot of things coming in that's being like, oh, hey, maybe we should look at how we can move in this direction, or this is a really good idea for something to do over here. Or just whatever that might be, whether it's personally or professionally. You've probably gotten a lot of ideas coming in the last couple of weeks. So this week is like the week of implementation. It's like, okay, so let's take those ideas and how can we turn it into inspired actions, and how can we also allow ourselves to be divinely led so that we're marrying that divine masculine and divine feminine energy, right? Because we want to shape these things into something sustainable. We don't want to be like Anna, where she creates everything in one day and then she like crashes and burns and can't do anything for like a week. And then by that time it's old news. You know, we want to take our time. We want to be nice and slow and just really love up on our ideas and see where it wants to go. And I know this probably sounds really weird, but in a lot of our energies, regardless of what it is that we're creating, all of it kind of is a relationship, right? And we want to romance it. We want to love it. We want to have gratitude for it. We want to make it feel special. We want to give time and priority to it. So I don't know if you connect with this, but like for me, my sacral is very like, hey, all of the time. And for it to be fun and exciting for me, I need to think about like, what does it want from me? And we can look at that as like clearing out a space. We can look at that as maybe some new creations that are happening inside of your business. We can look at that in many different facets, but regardless of what it is, it kind of is a relationship. And what have been some of your most successful relationships in your life? They have been relationships that have been attentive. They have been relationships that have been romantic. They have been relationships that have been romancing. And like, I'm talking like intimate, right? I'm not talking about just friendships. I mean, some friendships can get like that too, but I'm just saying in regards to these specific pieces, right? Because that is part of that 3 energy as well. So the 3 energy, I feel very connected to the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is right next to the sacral. And I feel like they often share energy, right? Because it's that creativity, that expression, that emotion, that self-empowerment, and all of those things. And if we are building something, we're building some kind of foundation, some kind of structure, we want to treat that like a relationship that's really important to us. So how do you put some priority and some love and pour gratitude into that from that energy? You know what I mean? But then also we have to remember that we've also got this 9 energy that's going to be with us all year, because we are in a collective year 9. So this is about healing, closure, emotional release. So you may notice, and you may have been noticing already, that there's things that are coming up that are being highlighted in areas of your life that maybe, and specifically this week, that are highlighting areas in your life that lack structure or stability, because they're still kind of tied to some old patterns. So how can you lovingly release those things and create a new relationship with your structure and stability? How can you create something new within that? So just some questions to think about this week. The 4 energies encouraging you to take a closer look at what you're building. So some questions. What are your routines supporting your well-being? Like, what are the things that you're doing every single day that are supporting your well-being? And if it's nothing, then start today. Start today. What is one small action you can make today that starts taking care of your well-being, right? Maybe that's pulling a card for yourself. Maybe that's grounding. Maybe that's taking 15 minutes to do a guided meditation. Maybe that's taking 10 minutes to do some yoga stretching. Whatever that is, one small step every day can really compound into a really big lasting effect. So what is one small thing you can do today to add into your daily routines of well-being? If you already have those routines, are all of those things supportive to what you are moving through and what you need to bring that energy in up as well? Are there maybe some changes, some things that you want to switch up within that? Are your commitments aligned with your highest value? Have you been saying yes to things just for the simple fact of saying yes, or because you are a people pleaser and you don't like saying no? Okay, so that's something for you to heal, something for you to grow through. And this is where you get to learn the difference between your hell yes and your sacred no, right? And this is really going to help when you're emotionally intelligent to understand what's going on inside of your body. When something is presented to you, your body immediately is going to answer, and it already knows. Like, you honestly don't even need to think about it. Whatever that first thought was that came into your mind, that's likely the one that feels most aligned to you. So even if parts of you feel guilty or obligated, if you felt immediately in the first place that it was a no, you need to honor that, right? Because you want to make sure that your commitments are aligned with your highest values. And then the last question I'm going to ask you is, are you avoiding responsibility in areas where structure could set you free? Something to think about. Okay, I'm going to take a look, see if there's any comments here. Oh, I've missed so many comments. Let me come back here. Okay, Jessica says, so is that why I've been forced to feel like I need to get my shit together? Yes. Daniel, you're a life path 8. That is incredible. I hope you know all the things about that, because that's really powerful. Jessica, slow down, she says. Set a foundation, she says. Are you feeling a little called out? Yeah, it is a little bit. Janice says yes. Jessica says, creating solutions is making it hard to say, I don't have time, Anna. Right, because we have the time. It's just what's important, right? What is taking priority for us? Amanda says, yes, building from the base with all working components. I feel this. Yes, yes, yes. Janice says, but ego wants it done the right way or not at all. That's perfectionism, and that is also part of the people pleasing as well. Because if we feel like somebody's going to be judgmental of something that we've put out into the world, then it's like it's not perfect, and therefore it's giving it space for that criticism to come in, and that doesn't always feel safe. And I understand that, but what if you just did it anyway? What if it wasn't perfect and you did it anyway, and then like some really incredible shit happened because of it? I'm just saying, and I get it, because y'all, I have been the perfectionist princess, okay? There have been times where I have full-on created amazing things and I never dropped it out into the world because something about it didn't feel right, or what are they gonna think, or they're gonna blow up my inbox with negative comments. And like, I get it. It can be scary as fuck. But what if you just let that perfectionism go? You create something incredible. Maybe it's a piece of content, or maybe it's, because I think most of the people that I'm speaking to in here right now are entrepreneurs in some fashion. But what if you create this piece of content that like has nothing to do with your business, but it's just really fun? And then people are like, ooh, what's she doing? I want some of that over there, right? Or like, what if you show up in a live video and your hair is a fucking disaster, but you show up anyway and you have so much fun with it? It's not perfect, but it's here. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't have to be about the perfectionism. It gets to be about what you feel around it, right? And that's like getting into that divinely led energy. That's getting into that that feminine flow, but also like having that structure underneath you to support that feminine flow. And that like support or that foundation that you create is like within your daily routines, having your support systems in place, like support systems. So like knowing who you can reach out to when things are hard or when you're being overly judgmental of your own fucking self. Because here's the thing. People right now, they don't give a fuck about your perfectionism, okay? And I'm sorry, and I don't mean to be harsh, but they don't give a fuck about your perfectionism, all right? They want to see real, raw life, okay? That's what they want to see. And actually, by you blocking yourself with your perfectionism, do you know what's actually happening? You're blocking your motherfucking abundance. Like, why do we want to do that to ourselves? And trust me, like, I really absolutely 1000,000,000% fucking get it, because it's scary to go out there without things being perfectly polished or perfectly professional. But I'm just telling you, people don't give a fuck about that anymore. They don't. They want to see the real. They want to see the raw. They want to see, okay, so you're saying that you can help me with XYZ, then show me how that's helped you. Right? That's the energy that the collective is kind of being in right now. And we don't have to be perfect. And actually being Hot Mess Express, showing up with her messy, greasy, needs to be washed hair, probably love that a lot more than like a perfect, well, maybe not. Maybe a perfectly coiffed set of hair would be really nice to you. But for me, it's like, you know what? This is real. This is me. And if you're going to hire me and work with me, I might show up looking like this sometimes. And you get to see that part of me too. It's a vulnerability. Like, it's a level of vulnerability that we get to be comfortable with. And I know it's like so fucking annoying sometimes, because it's like, I just want to like look good and feel good and all of the things, but we can feel good without having to look good. And what is look good? What does that really mean? Anyway, I'm really going off on a tangent. My apologies, but at the same time, you're welcome, because it's fun. Let's see. How did I even get off on that tangent? Oh, because ego. Something that she said was about ego. Because ego wants it done the right way or not at all. Yeah, that's actually like kind of more of, that is definitely like a people-pleasing trait. And there's all kinds of fear and anxiety that comes in and around that too, right? What is the right way? That's also the ego. So set that aside and just give your best. The ego will fall in line. Yes. Jessica's, yeah, biatch. I am feeling called out, Anna. Love you, girl. That is one of the hardest things for this human to do. Yes, I know, because we're so trained, right? Like, we're so trained. Let's think about it. Let's think about our school experiences, okay? Because this is where it's really starting from. You know, we have to write in certain ways. We have to have so many words. We have to have so many paragraphs. We have to raise our hands in order to speak. We have to, like, think about all of the ways that you were trained in school. And then you were graded on those things. And in some ways, you are graded on your level of perfectionism or being able to follow the guidelines, right? And if you sway outside of those guidelines or you do things even differently, then in some way, you're quote unquote punished for that, right? By maybe getting a lower grade because you didn't show your work, or because you didn't follow the topic exactly, or let's say maybe you were supposed to write something that was going to be in line with pro, but you didn't actually agree with pro. So you're like faking out this essay that you're writing that's all aligned with pro, but you're slipping in some con things in there because that's what really you feel. And they're like, well, you didn't stick to the assignment. And then we're getting punished for not being perfect. And then that's where, okay, well, you didn't get an A because you didn't do this exactly the way that I told you to, right? This is all the programs. These are the programs that led us to believe that perfectionism is key. That is success. And, you know, there has been a time where that has been a thing, but now it's not like that anymore. Humanity is waking up on a whole other level. We're getting more and more aware of our consciousness, of truly where we come from, of what connects us to the divine, the pieces of our energy. Like, there's just so much that is coming around that's helping us understand that, you know what, hey, you know what? I would actually rather follow a content creator or a healer or a coach or a mentor or a teacher that is showing me the real raw life that happens behind the scenes of the healing, behind the scenes of showing up, behind the scenes of showing up with messy, greasy, gross fucking hair, but does the thing anyway. You know what I mean? Because people are just appreciating that more, because how can we hold ourselves up to that standard or that level? We can't. It's an energy leak. And we cannot maintain our energy field if we're constantly in this push-pull of having to show up perfectly, of having to have the perfect piece of content, or parenting our children perfectly, or, you know, just all of these expectations that end up just putting us in the shame spiral for not doing it right. But we're doing it right. But we just think we're not doing it right because ego's like, that's wrong. But then we're like, but no, it's right because it's me. You know what I mean? Sorry, I get a little dramatic sometimes. I hope you love that, because that's just what I do. That's how I am. So, yes. Yes. Okay. You are welcome. You are welcome, Amanda. I hope me being in my authenticity right now is inspiring the fuck out of y'all, because it's been a minute. It has been a minute since I've been this authentic in these spaces, and it's because I am also letting go of that perfectionism bullshit. I am letting go of having to get everything done perfectly and quickly so that I can just get it out there in the world, because that is a place of anxiety. I'm learning to slow down. I am learning to be me. I am learning to show up authentically, because this is what is going to resonate with the people who you're meant to be with. If you're not showing up authentically as yourself, it's going to be real fucking hard for you to find your support systems and people, right? Because if you're showing up as this professional, polished version of you, then you're going to get some other stuck-up bitches. You're going to end up attracting some other stuck-up bitches that really don't really get you, because you're not really being you. You know what I mean? Nah mean. Nah mean. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Jessica says, I'm witnessing what you and I did together. Love it. I'm not exactly sure what you mean inside of that, Jess, but I'm sure that you're going to let me know. Amanda says, exactly, through experiences how we learn and be the example for others. I'm going to show up as me, always, in all the ways. I love that, Amanda. I just freaking love you. I truly am holding the vision that I get to go to St. Louis next weekend so that I can meet you, because I think I heard from somebody that you won't be coming, and I really want to meet you and to wrap my arms around you if that is in fact the truth. And I'm hoping, praying, visualizing that's happening. Janice says, yes, Anna, vulnerability is so important as we work to help and heal ourselves and others. Yes, 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 Anna. Who are we comparing ourselves to? I never understood that. I am me. I am not in competition with anyone else. Exactly, 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 exactly. Yes, yes, yes. And the only person that we should be in competition with is ourselves. And that's just in the level of, or in the perspective of, I'm only competing with myself so that I can grow and be better a little bit more each day. You know what I mean? And you know what? Even if some days I am not at that capacity or not at that level, that there gets to be grace for that too, right? Because I don't have to put that pressure on myself to do a little bit better every single day. I don't have to put that pressure on myself to be in that kind of competition with myself, right? It's like, am I growing? Am I learning? Am I doing a little more than I did yesterday? Amazing. Am I not? That's also amazing, because I'm wherever I need to be. I'm constantly in the ebb and flow. And the only thing that I can actually rely on in a consistency is that ebb and flow, the change. All of those things are the only things that are ever going to be consistent for me, right? Janice says, oh my God, Anna, I recall a high school English teacher telling me that though my interpretation of Emily Dickinson's poem was interesting, that it was incorrect and gave me a C rather than an A that was deserved. I got so deflated that I refused to work hard in her class, ultimately just harming myself as I didn't get the grades and work through it. Damn, spirit be spiriting. Yeah, girl. Absolutely. This is what happens when we are so programmed that things need to be perfectly done in perfect ways, and we need to let go of those programs. We need to let go of those stories. Maybe that shit worked in school, but that's not the shit that's going to work now. We are, probably for the majority of the people that are in here, we're in our 30s to 40s for the most part. Maybe some a little bit older, maybe some a little bit younger, but whatever. We're basically in this frame where, you know, we're done with the public education system. Like, we're done with that, and we're probably now experiencing it with our children. And this is where we get to teach our children different from the programs that they're being taught in school, because we are aware of how this has affected us, right? We are aware of how this has shifted and changed our perception and our programs within ourselves to operate inside of the world. And it's really interesting that this specific thing is coming up, because I was talking to my son over the weekend, because his teachers have expressed that, you know, there has been a lot of him that has changed since sometime in February. And I went back and I reflected and I'm like, oh, like in February, he got his report card and he got all B's instead of all A's, like, unlike the first report card. And he was really fucking upset that he didn't get all A's, because he strives to be good. He strives to be perfect. He strives to get perfect grades. And I don't exactly know where that comes from, because I've always tried to be like a conscious parent. Maybe that's something that's naturally within kids as well, is just always striving to be good and to be better and to do well. Because, you know, kids are learning and exploring and growing. But this is where I get to take that opportunity and be like, hey, just because you didn't get an A doesn't mean that you're any less valuable than the kid over there that did get the A. And like, this is where we get to start making some of those changes for our children, right? Jessica says, I am so fucking love witnessing you let loose. Look at World. She's on the loose. It's gonna be good. Yeah, girl. I am like ready to be in my unhinged era. Welcome. Episode 1. Because I'm just so tired of holding myself back. And that's like what I've personally been doing. So like this energies that we've been experiencing, because this has been like a really huge transformation that I've been going through ever since like mid-February, and I mean probably even further back, but like when I really started to pay attention to it was like mid-February until literally that full moon lunar eclipse, March 14th. And it was this really intense, hard fucking time. And I was just like, you know what? Even when I am doing everything perfectly and I'm doing everything right and I'm doing everything exactly the way that I need to be, I'm still not getting the success that I want to get and that I feel I deserve. So you know what? Maybe it's just time for me to become unhinged and see what the fuck happens. Because I'm there. I'm ready for that. Amanda says, thank you for showing up, Anna Wheatcroft. You're inspiring and I adore you. I just want to be authentic and enjoy life. No comparison. I love you. You'll be at SJ's on the 3rd. Ooh, girl. We're looking at trying to get me flown in for the 4th. So hopefully I'll see you there. All right, let's finish this. Unhinged, love it. Breaking free. Yes, exactly. All right, let's finish this up, because I do have a little bit more to say about this energy this week. And then I've got your shadow work journal prompt and affirmation for the week as well. So I want to get you guys all of these details before we move on and pull a card. So let's just rein it all back in. Let's bring it all back in. Let's get back to the point. All right, so this week is a 4-week, and this is a powerful week to organize your thoughts, to recommit to your goals, and to make tangible progress. Even if it's behind the scenes, you may feel called to declutter physical space, map out your next steps, or maybe even set boundaries that are going to bring more clarity to your energy. Okay? The creative energy of this 3-month is still shining, especially when it's paired with the steady momentum of the 4. So let joy and order coexist, because they do both get to take space. Okay. So this energy may bring up some resistance. Okay. Not everybody loves structures. Some people are fearful of like being put in a box, and I understand that. And it's not that you are putting yourself in a box, but a good thing to do would be to explore whether those fears are rooted in past experiences where control was misused. So we can go back into this about like the whole schooling thing, right? Specifically the thing that Janice said, where she created this really beautiful essay about this thing. And then because it wasn't done exactly correctly, she got a lower grade than what she actually deserved, right? Because that was where control was misused. Right? That experience alone could have been completely different, right? And you can probably think of other examples in your own life as well, where control was misused, where control was actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Detrimental instead of instrumental. You know what I mean? Because there is a difference. Okay, also, or where you were expected to live in a way that didn't honor your spirit either. So this 9 years offering you a chance to release those outdated narratives and build a new way of living. And you're going to come up against this all fucking year. So be prepared. Okay, and I'm not saying this to be scary, like, oh my God, the world is ending, because no, that's not it. What it is, though, is it's bringing all of that shit, all of those narratives, those programs, those thoughts, those beliefs, those cycles, all the things that get you stuck in the shit, right? All the things that get you stuck in the shit. It's all coming to light because it's time to let it go. Like, let the Niagara Falls of shit storms come out of your ass so that you can just really clear yourself of that bullshit. Okay? Because this is what this year is really offering you. It's offering that chance to release the outdated narratives and build a new way of living. One that is supporting both your freedom and your growth. And to have really successful, quote unquote successful, because successful is really arbitrary, it depends on what that means to you, but successful, damn, where did I go with that? Hold on. Outdated narratives and new ways that supports your freedom and your growth. Right, because there is this really beautiful dance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies where we get to have structure and organization be empowering to our femininity, to be empowering to our flow. We need to have certain things laid out in certain ways so that we can focus our energy. Because it's great to be in our divine feminine flow and being all floaty and creative and expressive and loving and all the things. It's great. It's wonderful. But if we don't have like a goal, or we don't have something that we're working toward within that, then we can get really lost in that flow, right? So there does need to be space for foundations and support to help you with your freedom and your growth, right? Okay, so let's get into your journal prompt for shadow work for this week. And I always create these journal prompts to kind of reflect the energy that's happening right now in the collective. So this is going to be around structure and responsibility, all that stuff, but it will help you kind of get into the root of some of the things that are going on. So I want you to explore that this week if you are feeling connected to this journal prompt. But here's your journal prompt for this week. It says, where in my life am I resisting structure or commitment, and why? What beliefs do I hold around discipline or responsibility that may be rooted in past experiences? What kind of foundation do I need to feel safe, supported, and free? And pay attention to how you feel also when you read that. If there are specific words, this is something that I'm talking a lot in my membership about, is about understanding like when your body, like when you read certain things and your body's like, ugh, you know, because I know for me, the word discipline makes me want to vomit. I want to vomit all of the contents of my body because of this word discipline. Because I don't like it, right? But this is where we get to explore those pieces of ourselves where we can be like, okay, why don't I like the word discipline? What is it about discipline? Discipline feels hard and it feels mean and it feels like a bully. I don't like discipline because it feels like a bully and I just want to hide. But how can discipline be spun into a positive, right? How can that be spun into a positive? Because we have discipline in certain areas of our lives that are helping us create an end goal, then discipline isn't a bad thing. Discipline gets to be a thing that's like, hey, we're falling off track a little bit over here. Can we like reel it back in? Let's come back over here. We're getting really distracted by all the beautiful shiny things, which is great. But hey, come on back. Come on back. Right? So pay attention to when there are certain words that make your body feel certain ways too, because this is going to help you understand your reactions or your triggers as well to specific words and things. And that's where you get to explore it a little bit further too, right? Okay. So this prompt is inviting you to examine your relationship with structure, safety, and responsibility. And remember, again, I use this word specifically to examine your relationship, because basically everything is a kind of a relationship, however you want to look at it. So how can you schmooze with structure? How can you romance your safety? How can you love on your responsibilities to help you kind of change some of those narratives inside of that, right? So both the healthy forms and the distorted ones, like you can examine both sides of that, because that's your light is the healthy forms, the shadows, your distorted ones. So use it to uncover resistance, to explore how you can build a life that both honors discipline and joy, because both things can actually exist at the same time, even though you might not believe that, even though you might be like, Anna, you're full of shit. That's okay. You can think that I'm full of shit. That's fine. I don't care. But I can promise you that discipline and joy get to exist at the same time, just like grief and happiness can exist at the same time. And I know it feels really weird that both things can exist, but they absolutely can. There is space for both of them to exist. So even though you may be feeling a certain way, like me, about discipline, where I'm just like, ooh, in certain ways, I've had more discipline in my life in certain areas, then I know that I would feel more joy in other parts of my areas, because they do get to like kind of commingle and work beautifully together as well. All right, let's get into the affirmation, and then I'm going to pull our card for the week. And I'm going to be working on something like fun to do in this space. I don't know when yet, but I want to do like some kind of 7-day challenge, some kind of energetic 7-day challenge. I don't know what that looks like yet. I'm still kind of exploring. I'm taking my time. I'm romancing that relationship of what that looks like. And we're going to see what's really fun. But yeah, there's something I want to do for sure. Okay, so affirmation for this week. I build strong and supportive foundations for my dreams. Structure empowers my creativity, and discipline creates space for freedom. How does that make you feel? Put it in the comments. I'm really interested. How does that affirmation make you feel? I build strong and supportive foundations for my dreams. Structure empowers my creativity, and discipline creates space for my freedom. I hate that last part. Like when I was writing it this morning, I was like, because I just have such a fucked up relationship with discipline. Like I really do. I really do. But that's where I get to recognize and like have fun and make levity of like my shadow shit, right? And we can make fun and have levity inside of our shadow shit too. When there's things that we don't like, we can still have fun with it. We can still poke fun at ourselves for it. And that's definitely what I do, because I'm like, yep, I don't love it. I do not love it at all. Oh, discipline creates space for freedom. What? I want nothing but freedom. Why do I need the discipline? Right? It just makes me want to vomit all over the place. Maybe the 7-day challenge should be around learning to love discipline. Maybe. I don't know. I'm marinating on this because there's a few different areas that I would like this 7-day challenge. Because I'm noticing that even though I'm letting go of a lot of those pieces now, like it took me a long time to get here around like my people pleasing and my approval seeking and things of that nature. And I feel like a lot of people here can resonate with that people pleasing, because we never want to disappoint people. I think it's very human nature to like not want to let anybody down, to not want to make anybody feel any negative kind of ways. But there are times and places where we just need to speak our own fucking truth. And sometimes that's really fucking hard. And we can even allow ourselves to be disciplined in speaking our truth, because maybe that can be what helps. I'm applying the discipline part to my health, which gives me freedom in the long run. Health is freedom. Yes, Natasha. By the way, hi. Haven't been seeing you in a hot ass minute. Hey, girl. All right, let me just invite in this light and let's pull a card for this week. Considering this 4-week energy, this 3-month energy, and this 9-year energy. And let's see, because what I find interesting about that is that we've got a couple of numbers that are in the feminine, right? We've got the 3 and the 9, which are both very feminine energies. And then 4 is a very, I don't know, if I were to picture 4 as like a person, it would be like an authority figure that like when you walk up, you're instantly like it's a big buff dude, in like some kind of tactical gear, whether it's like a police officer or whether it's like security or just something along those lines. Like if I were to, like, I do this all the time. I play this game of like, if number 4 was a person, who would it be? And number 4 to me does give me kind of like those policey vibes, right? Where like it feels intimidating to approach it, but at the same time, it's like, you know that you need that to create structure and order in your world, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my weird brain doing weird things, but that's how I play with that all the time. All right. Let's call in the guides, Ascendant Masters, and Spirit Team for this space in Divine Purpose Posse. What focus, direction, or support can you give us through this 4-week energy, this 3-month energy, and this 9-year energy that we're going to be experiencing? And let's also keep in mind that at the end of the week, we have a new moon with a solar eclipse as well. And this new moon is coming in at Aries. We are in the astrological new year as well. Let's not forget that. So what kinds of things can you give us? Ooh. Okay, I like that card for us this week. So, Natasha says, miss you, keep up the good work to guide others. Love you, girl. Jessica says, what about a buff dude with a nice ass and our check is in to get to slap that ass? If that is the motivation that you need to create a new relationship with discipline, then Jessica, I 100% encourage you to do such a thing. All planets align with my signs. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so the card for today, we got card number 8. So you guys know I'm also a numerologist. So I'm going to talk about the number of the card as well, just because I think it's always potent information. So the 8, when I think about the 8, a lot of us do associate 8 with abundance, which absolutely 8 is the number of abundance. Okay. If you're ever trying to work on money things, 8 personal or collective days are going to be your best days to be looking at financial things. So that can be looking at like budgeting. That can be looking at maybe where you want to put some investments, paying your bills. The best day to pay your bills are on 8 days. And I was going to say, I don't know the science behind it because I know the science to all things, but no, it's not that. It's the energy, right? Because it's the 8 energy. 8 is all about that money and all of the things. So when I think about that 8, it's like, okay, we're in this 8 energy. So this is also asking us a little bit to be looking at some of our money things, perhaps. But also when I think about the 8, that is also like a powerful number. That's like a leadership number. That is like, if I were to look at the 8 as a zodiac sign, the 8 is very similar to the Leo, right? Like it is a leader. It is somebody who is going to take charge. It is somebody who is very also closely related to that 1 energy as well. But that 8, there's just something more about it. It's just deeper. It's more delicious. It's more, it is a little bit of a masculine, where it's like a very divinely healed masculine. That 8 energy is going to support you in all your endeavors because it is also that finance. It is also that abundance. It is also that infinity. It's also that like understanding that like we are all one and we are all just different reflections of spirit, God, the universe, however you want to look at it, that wanted to be here to express itself in this manner as well. And that like there's no limitation, there's no limit to us. The only limit or limitation that is actually applied to our beingness is what is inside the mind. That is where our limitation comes from, because we are actually limitless beings, right? So the card that we got that goes with this is, okay, so card number 8, but it's the Origins of Light, and it is the Strength card. So I just want you to sit with this card for a moment. These cards are so aesthetically pleasing, but also they're also very activating, right? So like there's things here that you may pick out or that you might like start to get insights about. So I want you to like just be with this for a moment and see what stands out to you. What kind of a feeling or message are you getting behind this card? Okay. So that's the card. I'm going to grab the book while you're taking your moment with that. Okay. So card number 8 is the Origins of Light, and it is the Strength card. Okay, so it says connect to the inner strength of your spiritual, of your spirit, and face challenges with courage. My phone is almost dead. Hopefully I make it through this. Actually, hold on. I got to plug in right here. Let me plug in my phone because I'm literally at 5% already this morning. I don't even know how. Like, how did that happen? Mercury's in the microwave. Okay, there we go. Okay. I like that. Natasha says heart chakra. Jessica says be open to receiving, connect to self. I love that. I love that. Okay. So card 8, origins of light, strength. Connect to the inner strength of your spirit and face challenges with courage. The teaching here is of inner strength. When you connect with your spirit to overcome any obstacle, the stamina and persistence you need are sourced from your commitment to something profound and divine. Quiet, composure, calm, and patient are combined with personal power and deep inner confidence to walk through the metaphorical fire, even if it seems a little bit scary. This archetype may be called for in your current situation or as a solid supporter for someone else going through challenges. If you do not feel like you have these capabilities, this card inspires you to find that sun inside of yourself, encouraging you to persevere. It calls you to lead without excessive outward force. And then the healthy awareness of this card. Yes, Johanna. Yes. This is the, I'm looking for the box. Here it is. It's Unveiling the Golden Age by Izzy Ivy. Okay, so y'all might know or not know, but I'm an oracle girly. I don't really fuck with tarot. And it's not because there's not necessarily anything wrong with tarot. It's just I personally just don't connect with it. But this deck is a new age tarot. So it does kind of follow a lot of the same structures as tarot does. Like it's got the minor arcana, it's got the major arcana, it's got like all of those things, but it's very new aged. And it feels like it's more from a place of positivity and enlightenment, and not that tarot isn't, but I don't know. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't need to explain myself either. Okay, so healthy awareness. Discover tools that support you to call on what you know, restore balance with ease, and to help you re-energize. Perhaps expand your repertoire and explore new methods of strengthening your inner core to help maintain inner calm and peaceful exterior in times of challenge. Y'all, this is exactly what I have created inside of the Cosmic Glow Up Club. Oh my God. And I know I haven't talked about it a lot, but this is my new membership space that's opening on April 7th. And I've like, that perfectionism, right? Been having a really hard time like exactly verbalizing like what do we do in there, and I've been working really hard to get clear on that, but this fucking paragraph right here, like I feel like it just explained it so well. Discover tools that support you to call on what you know, restore balance with ease, and to help you re-energize. Perhaps expand your repertoire and explore new methods of strengthening your inner core to help maintain inner calm and peaceful exterior in times of challenge. It's exactly what we're going to be doing inside of the Cosmic Glow Up Club. Oh my God, you guys. I can't wait to tell you guys more. Okay, next. Avoid anything that suppresses your true nature, as this will only take you further away from what you are cultivating. Add meditation practices or other means of finding your center. Accessing more of your life force energy will help you maintain the strength and confidence required to overcome this challenge. Know that any extra time it takes to succeed will afford you more energy and efficiency, and in turn, gift you back more than it took to begin with. Does this not hit on like literally everything we talked about this morning in this video? Like I'm over here like, wait. Know that any extra time it takes to succeed, that's the slowdown, right? The slowdown will afford you more energy and efficiency, and in turn gift you back more than it took to begin with. What? The cards be carding, y'all. I need to put this in my book because I need to come back to this, because that was just like, oh, that was like slapping a bitch across the face to be like, do you hear me now? Do you hear me now? Anyway. All right, friends. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're here live or on the replay. I just appreciate you investing your energy in this time to spend it together. And I am excited to see what this week folds. I'm honestly really excited what this whole year is going to unfold, being a collective 9-year. And then for me personally, being in a 5-year, my business being in a 5-year. But thankfully, next month, my business will be shifting into a 6-year, so that we're not both fucking in this 5-year energy, because it's not a fun place to be all the time. So I'm excited for a little bit of a change inside those energies. But anyway, that aside, thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. Have an incredible week. And I am so excited to come back next week and talk to you more as we move into a 5-week. All right, friends. Bye for now.